Our media filming questionnaire here with myself, Jamie, Rory and Lucy. First we're going to talk about The Friend, which is our sequence of course, and where our inspiration came from.
The inspiration for the film, I'll look to cut in this one, I think was we all just got ideas, we looked at some material and we just sort of put them all together and we came up with this.
I suppose we really thought about the CCTV, and then I think you shouted out "framed," and I think that kind of really stuck with us.
Yeah.
And we decided that would be the best to go on. Anyway, that
kind of went on the name. So after we got framed, we kind of thought of different things to go with it. So like saying that Jack got framed about it, and then bringing in a robbery, and then bringing in a dead body to bring in the spirit, the mystery behind the whole thing.
Right.
We just sort of kept on building up ideas from when we started. We started off pretty basic and then we started building it up.
Just adding in little things to make it more interesting, and we came up with a lot of ideas, some that we didn't like, some that we did like, and we came with a frame.
Then we got our second point, which is setting location, which is Jamie's house, and it is a classic large Georgian house, which is kind of shows the scary aspect that we wanted to add into the film, and that really develops it by also it being really deep into the countryside. So
Yeah.
that kind of moved on.
Yeah, we also wanted it in kind of say in the middle of nowhere, so that where a robbery would normally take place, somewhere where it's quiet, probably going for a bigger house. I thought it was a good location as we had everything that we needed to film our clip in.
Yeah, it had the brick walls, big gates, which it went well with what we were trying to do. And it was a big brick house with some old-fashioned stuff in it, and it went well with what we were trying to create.
Yeah, I think that the driving in at the beginning, we had the road there so we could show what was around us. We kind of had everything that we needed to do the filming and bring in CCTV, which we also brought in, which worked well with the location that we used.
Also really useful because that really used us on setting the scene, so it really developed the whole of the clip. Okay, so our third one, which is costume and props. So, Lucy, do you want to start with some costume and props, and what was our inspiration for that?
Yeah, so for the robbers we basically used dark clothing because we filmed the whole thing at night. We used balaclavas, something to look like a balaclava on their face so you can see who they were. And for what we basically did for the dead girl, we just found some clothes which looked like work clothes, to be honest.
Yeah, it's kind of like drapey clothing, which made it look even more scary.
We tried to go for your sort of stereotypical burglar.
So they're covering their face, obviously, because of the CCTV. They didn't want to obviously show their face on
Hiding their identity and stuff.
Yeah, we kind of just
wearing dark clothes.
Also the car as well, that was a major prop in our main thing.
Yeah.
So bringing the props. Our car was very showing how they got to the location, showing what they did, how they got away and everything.
Yeah, it shows that it shows that they're obviously far away, or they come here as a purpose, not just as a random burgle. They know what they're doing, and it's of a different location.
Yeah, another key prop that we had was the safe.
Yeah.
And that was really useful because we got a really decent shot through inside of the inside safe, which looked both at me and Rory when we were in the burgling scene. So that looked really good, and that also developed how to find the papers and how mysterious it was.
It also brought in where we were looking for the papers, so everyone in the audience knew that they were going for the safe, and then the safe was open, girl was dead, they didn't know what to do. That kind of brought in the more mysterious of where have they gone, what's going to happen.
Okay, so our fourth point is camera work and editing. Jamie, do you want to start us off on that bit? So we've got
CCTV, so we wanted to use CCTV to kind of bring it more so it's more realistic. So the CCTV would be more of something showing what's actually going on around the house without having to make it more of like we wanted to make it like a realistic burglary kind of.
We did have a think about doing it as in the first person, so it was looking through mine and Rory's eyes. But then we found out that this actually it would have become more of a movie and wouldn't have been as realistic as if we used it from camera angles like CCTV and stuff like that, which just made it all more realistic and more scary, which was like the exact vibe we wanted, wasn't it? So
we didn't want to make the angles cheesy or unrealistic. We wanted to make it look like what it would actually look like if you went in and watched some CV footage. CV footage.
Yeah.
We always wanted it to look like what it would look like on a CCTV. So on one of our shots, the camera moves, which brings in the CCTV and shows that how, because the CCTV would obviously move around, they're not always just at that point. So we did that to try and make it look like it was more of a realistic cameras around the house.
yeah, also another main part of like editing was getting the music in tow. Rory, you found that, didn't you? And that's just like a basic like using like research on the internet and really going into like major detail into what would really suit, because it was quite hard because we did find it quite difficult.
We found a website where you could put loads of different sort of genres, and so we put into a horror and sort of a thriller genre and put it into one which sort of fits into our film, and we found something which fitted perfectly for what we're trying to make.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people who watched the film, they said it was good, so I think that was something that we were happy with.
Yeah, on our first draft of the film, we decided that we would stop the music when they went into the room where Lucy was dead, because we thought we wanted to bring up the atmosphere more in that and concentrate on that rather than people like listening to the music. But I think everyone here agreed that we should have the music the whole way through. It kind of brought up more of the atmosphere rather than it suddenly cutting out and having nothing, and then coming back in. But we all thought, I think, that it should.
Yeah, even if it was put into the background and there was something else, like when Rory says no into looking through the office with all the papers.
Yeah, we turned that up to a higher volume so that you could hear it.